Hey Jason, Manabuta here, and we are almost at that special time of the year. I'm not talking about Christmas, I'm not talking about 4th of July, I'm talking about tax season. And tax season for this year, 2026, is going to be very special because they say that tax season this year is going to have the highest refunds in history. The reason for this is because last year, in July 4, 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was passed by President Trump, and this bill cut individual taxes by an estimated amount of $144 billion. Can you imagine that? $144 billion. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act was one of the biggest tax bills in history that provided Americans with the most tax benefits that this country has seen in a very long time. Let's go over some of those tax benefits that were passed through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. So one of those tax benefits is that the standard deductions has increased. For example, for single filers, the standard deduction for 2025 is $15,750, and for married filing joint taxpayers, it's $31,500. So therefore, you can have higher standard deductions to offset your taxable income with. Another one is a child tax credit. It used to be $2,000. Now it's $2,200. Another one that's big for my real estate investor people and people that own, houses is a SALT deduction, right? So the SALT deduction covers state and local tax, includes your property tax. The limit used to be $10,000. Now it's $40,000, and now you can deduct more of your property tax. So this is big for people who own houses in high property tax areas like California and New York. Before you were only limited to $10,000, but now you can deduct up to $40,000. Okay. Another one is for senior citizens that are 65 years and older. You get a special personal exemption of $6,000. And also, there's no tax on tip, but again, there's some limitations on this. That's a conversation for another video. That's something to be mindful of. Also, especially, this doesn't really affect our real estate investor clients or business owner clients, but this mostly affects their children, right? Because a lot of our clients who are successful real estate investors, business owners, they might have kids who are working in the food service industry, and they might earn wages, so they are affected by the no tax on tips. If you want to learn more about it, watch the webinar that I made last year around July. I talk more about the no tax on tips. And also, another campaign promise that Trump delivered on is no tax on overtime. That's another one that doesn't really affect a lot of our real estate investor clients, but this affects more either the children, or if they have a active business, this could affect them as well. And then also the auto interest is now deductible up to $10,000, and there are some limitations and requirements for that deduction. One of them is that the vehicle has to be manufactured here in America. And there's so much more tax breaks from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that we're not even talking about. For example, there's a qualified opportunity zones. They're focusing more on rural land and rural areas. That starts again this coming year, so that's something important to pay attention to. You also have manufacturing buildings. You can deduct 100% of the cost of that in the current year if you meet certain requirements. So there's really a lot of neat tax opportunities that benefits real estate investors in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that you need to be aware of so that you can really maximize your tax deductions and refunds for 2025. But I would say that that is not the biggest factor that is leading to the 2026 tax season having the highest refunds in recent history, but rather the reason why we are expecting high refunds this year is a combination of the new tax laws, but also because the IRS did not update their withholding tables for 2025. So then therefore, employees were overpaying in 2025, and now those overpayments are going to come back as refunds in 2026. And something very important to know is that these overpayments affected millions of workers nationwide. And A refund is expected to be between 100 to 150 billion dollars in refunds will be issued in 2026. Once again, refunds will be between 100 to 150 billion dollars in 2026 for the 2025 tax year for the millions of employees that overpaid on their withholding. Okay? So this is a alert to you guys that this is why it's very important for you to file your taxes on time. Make sure that you have all your receipts. Make sure that you have all your documents so that you do not miss out on this opportunity to get a potentially a nice refund for your 2025 taxes. Alright, so in previous years, average refund was about $3,000, but for this year, we are going to see an average refund of $3,700. Alright, so not only are we going to see more refunds this year in 2026, but we're going to see higher refunds as well. So that's always nice. Okay? So again, this refunds being higher this year and more this year, this is a one-time event. This is not going to be a permanent thing. Again, this is because a combination of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act being passed last year and the IRS not updating their withholding tables. So a lot of workers, millions of workers nationwide, were overpaying on their withholding. Okay, so there was a mismatch in 2025, which resulted in this year having more refunds and higher refunds for 2025 taxes that will be filed. Okay, so to wrap this thing up, what I want to say is, so you want to make sure that you maximize your tax deductions for this year. So I know that a lot of clients want to file their taxes by April, okay, but I challenge you to consider, okay, if you can, to file an extension, okay? I'm not giving you guys tax advice because I know that even though I am a CPA, I'm not your CPA. So always talk to your tax professional first. But what I'm telling my clients is that the government gives you 6 months as an extension to file your taxes, okay? Use it to your advantage. I know that there are misconceptions out there. A lot of people think that if you file an extension, you are more likely to get audited. This is not true. This is a myth. Okay, take the extension, use it as an advantage for you to have more time to really organize your documents, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, make sure that you have really documented and taken into account for all your expenses and tax deductions for 2025. Talk to your tax professional, make sure that you have maxed out your contributions for your retirement accounts if they apply to you. Okay, talk to your tax professional about that before you pull the trigger so that you can really maximize your tax deductions for 2025 and you can be a part of the many Americans who are going to enjoy a higher refund this year. Okay, and before I go, I want to give you a bonus as well that another great thing that's going to happen this year in 2026, which I'm going to be talking more about in a future video, is the Trump accounts that's going to be available starting this year. And let me pull my notes real fast. But yeah, the Trump account is good for kids. This qualifies for newborns that are born between 2025 and 2028. The U.S. government is going to put $1,000 into the account. It grows tax-free as long as you don't take it out before a certain age. You can contribute up to $5,000 to it annually. Employers can make a tax-deductible contribution of $2,500 per year. So it's a tax-free deduction of $2,500 per year. You have to put that money in a stock market index fund, and there are some specific things that you could use that money for in the future, like I believe like education, starting a business, etc., etc., etc. But I think most importantly, this is going to not only allow children who are born between 2025 and 2028 to get free money and start an investment account. But more importantly, it's going to teach them the importance of investing their money and how investing works. Okay, so once again, we're going to talk more about that in a future episode, but I just wanted to touch base on that for now. And remember, if you have any questions, if you want to become a client with our firm, please schedule a call. And remember, don't worry, your accountant handles that.